Hi everyone, we are here today to present our analysis of micromix engineering, focusing on its organizational structure, leadership, costing, financial performance, and also audit considerations. For the first part of this presentation, I will be discussing the type of organizational structure and ideology applied by micromix engineering based on Mintzberg theory. Hence, let's begin. Micromix operates with an adhocracy ideology during complex projects. This means the company is highly flexible and also relies on innovation, creativity, and collaboration across specialized teams instead of rigid hierarchies. For example, in the abandoned boiler project, there was no documentation or design to work from. Instead of following formal structures, Mr. Peter, the CEO, assembled expert teams in instrumentation, architecture, and programming to find solutions. The work was non-routine and required each team to adapt and contribute their expertise independently while still working together as one unit. In addition to its adhocratic nature, Micromix also demonstrates elements of a missionary ideology. This is because the organization is guided by strong values, especially around sustainability and also innovation. Mr. Peter pursued a project that others avoided, driven not just by profit but by a mission to revive a neglected facility and also address environmental pollution in the nearby area. Micromix cost structure is what we call a simple structure. It's centralized with Mr. Peters making most of the decision and the company has only 4 in-house staff members. This lean setup is typical of small organizations and allow for fast decision making without the burden of bureaucracy. However, during high complexity projects like the boiler recovery, the structure temporarily shift into what we call a professional adhocracy. Here, external experts were brought in to handle tasks like drawing new boiler schematic, programming touchscreen system, and inspecting parts. Each team worked with autonomy, but the coordination was knowledge-driven. This allowed Micromix to complete the project in just 5 months, despite having no access to the original designs. To summarize, Micromix has a simple structure by default, but adopts a professional advocacy model by managing complex and also technical projects. Hence, their ideology aligned with advocacy, prioritizing flexibility and innovation, and also includes a missionary spirit driven by purpose and also impact.
Leadership power for this case is expert power. The concept comes from French and Raven theory of leadership power. Expert power definition is when a leader gain influence because they have special knowledge or skill that other people respect. In this case, Mr. Peter clearly demonstrates this because he understands that a abandoned boiler system without needing the original design document. Other companies refused to take on the project, but he was confident due to his deep technological knowledge in boiler and system. His expertise was give him credibility and the ability to lead team of specialists and effectively.
As a CEO, two relevant leadership theories are expert power and transformational leadership. Expert power means gaining respect through deep knowledge. For example, Mr. Peter understood the boiler system without design documents because of his technical expertise. In addition, transformational leadership is about inspiring and motivating teams. Mr. Peter used visionary thinking, technical skills, and influence to solve problems and build trust with his teams and stakeholders.
Now I will present the cost of good manufacture for Micromix Engineering for the year ended 31st December 2021. We begin with direct material. The total material used was 378,000, but after deduct the 84,000 of indirect material used, the net direct material cost was 294,000. Next, we add direct manufacturing labor, which amounted to 480,000. Then we consider the manufacturing overhead, which include indirect labor, property taxes, depreciation on equipment, miscellaneous overhead, and also utilities. This totaled to 706,200 in overhead costs. Combining all this, the total manufacturing cost was 1,480,200. Lastly, we adjust for work in process inventory. We add the beginning work in process and subtract the ending work in process, giving us the final cost of good manufacture of 1,449,600.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharina and today I will be presenting on the cost of goods sold. So we start with the beginning finished good, then we add with the cost of good manufacture, and last with the ending finished good, then we will be getting the cost of goods sold. So based on the costing data, Micromix cost of goods sold is RM 1,479,600, which is higher than its cost of good manufacture of RM 1,449,600. So this tells us the company sold more goods than it produced. So the additional 30,000 is likely come from the beginning. inventory, so suggesting there were higher market demand. So assuming a 30% of markup, Micromix could be generating a strong estimate revenue. However, it is important to note that high sales doesn't automatically come from high profits. So the company should monitor its gross profit margin and ensure the pricing strategy. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sharanya. I will be presenting a financial appraisal of Micromix Engineering Malaysia using 5 key ratios analysis comparing the years 2020 and 2021. First is the current ratio. In 2020, the current ratio was 1.22 and it decreased to 0.88 in 2021. This indicates a decline in the company's short-term liquidity. It suggests that the company may have faced difficulties in meeting its short-term liabilities, which could reflect a weakening liquidity position. Next is the net profit margin. The net profit margin dropped significantly from 11% in 2020 to 2.55% in 2021. This sharp decrease indicates that the company's profitability has been negatively affected, possibly due to the increasing cost or decrease in revenue. Next, let's move on to return of asset. ROA dropped from 28.25% in 2020 to 6.36% in 2021. This shows a decrease in the company's ability to effectively use its asset to generate profit, reflecting a decline in operational efficiency.
Thank you, Sharon. Next is ROA. ROA or return on assets dropped from 28.25% in 2020 to 6.36% in 2021, meaning the company became much less efficient at using its assets to generate profits. And the last one is ROE. ROE or return on equity dropped sharply from 50.9% to 12.5%, indicating a significant decline in profitability and inefficient use of shareholder funds in 2021. This drop aligns with falling sales and high operational strain. Thank you.
Moving on, I'm going to talk about the question E, which is about the key audit matters to be highlighted. So first of all, it's about the declining of revenue. The company's revenue dropped from 15 million in 2020 to 11 million in 2021, with gross profit declining by 43%. In this case, auditors would find the causes of revenue decline and assess the adequacy of management's mitigation strategies. The next one is about the non-disclosure of financial struggles. The board has decided not to disclose the company's financial struggles in the financial statements. This lack of transparency may violate accounting standards and mislead stakeholders about the company's true financial health. Auditors should discuss with the management, if unresolved, escalate to the board of directors and also the audit committee. Encourage full disclosure of risks and uncertainties as required by financial reporting standards.
For key audit matters, high gearing ratios and negative cash flow, the company faces potential liquidity and solvency problem due to its high debt load combined with negative cash flow operations, according to financial statement. During 2021, the company financial situation became worse because its overdraft amount increased to Rm 1 million ringgit to Rm 150,000 ringgit in 2020. So auditors can evaluate loan agreement and cash flow forecast, analyze solvency ratios to determine financial viability. So next, management instability. Numerous essential executives depart the company because they face pressure from the board of directors. Such as organizational change would negatively impact decision, process and employee operation as well as negative impact investor trust. So auditors should review governance structure, board's minutes and human resource report on key executive departures.